Episode 96! Are these comics going to be great movies and television shows? We got Neo Before Zod, and we have Void Rivals, and we have the new Redcoat in the Ghost Machine. Let's get into it right now. Right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my little rant with movies, television shows, and comics as we review them and see how they're plotted and how they're executed and see if they'll be good on the small screen. And so we're going to jump into a DC and a couple of independents by Image Comics. If you're not familiar with Image Comics, they're the ones that did Walking Dead. I'll just put it that way. So, in fact, Robert Kirkman wrote one of the ones here. He's the same guy who created Walking Dead. So, if you're not really familiar with comics, but you're just kind of coming in to see what's out there, then you're going to recognize some of the names. Is all I'm saying. So, I am your host, Frank Zanca. I am an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a line producer, and I will be working again soon. We have a movie in May, and then I have another series in June. So we are ramping up, thank God. But if you are looking to get into the business, or if you're just interested about how things work and something you might want to jump into in the future, before I leave for LA in May, I am running a little class. It's going to be a 2-day, 3-hour per day class, where we're going to discuss everything from writing to a budget, because I'm going to do everything based on a low budget. If you're doing $100 million movie, you don't need to talk to me. So I'm more going to be talking about the lower budget side. If you're going to do shorts, if you're going to do a low budget film, web series, etc., then that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be getting into. Where you can kind of play around, or if you're an actor and you kind of want to showcase yourself, things like that. But it's going to be on the 20th and 21st. The description below will have the link to Eventbrite. If you bring people with you, I give $30 off across the board. So everybody including yourself and the other people you bring, will all get $30 off. It's going to be fun, and you're going to be able to ask questions, and I'm going to get... not too jargony, so even if you're worried that you're not going to understand, I'll make sure that you completely understand everything. So that's it for me. So let's jump right into Neo Before Zod. So this is the offshoot from Superman, of course, by Joe Casey. He is the writer here. And, there's a part of this I just do not buy. And that's the fact that we have Kandor, which is the miniaturized city from Krypton. I think Brainiac, he was the one who miniaturized it. But anyway, Superman had it for all these years, and was taking care of it, was protecting it, and now suddenly Zod has it. And I'm just not buying that Superman wouldn't be scouring the universe looking for this. But anyway, so they have Ursa and Zod have a child. Which he exiled. So he and Ursa were left on the planet pretty much by themselves and the robots that they had. And then the Khund, which was like warlords, if you want to talk about like Klingons or whatever, came and attacked it because he was building a weapon. And they were able to steal that. But they were able to temporarily block out the sun to make the rays red, which eliminated his powers and Ursa's, and Ursa was killed. So that's where we're kind of picking up from the last issue, and everybody was wondering, well, if she was going to come back to life. And there's her. I like how they made the funeral pyre, and it looks like a coffin. It's actually the shape of a coffin. I think that's interesting. But anyway, Pete puts her on crystals, and I guess the crystals are combustible, because he heat visions it. Tell me that's not cinematic right there. He kind of reverts back to his old ways now, and now he's going to be on the hunt to kill them all. And that's Kandor there in the bottle. And he kind of does Superman the movie thing, where he turns it into a crystalline thing and sends it into space. I don't know where. I don't know if he's sending it back to Superman or if he's just sending it out there. I don't know. It's self-sufficient, so they grow their own food and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know how it's working. But anyway, so he has them, track down the Kuns, and then Jor-El shows up. I like how it's the old Jor-El from the original comics. But anyway, it's only in his head, and it's taunting him. So he's like I said, he's going to track down the Kuns and deliver vengeance. So we're going back to his evil ways. Now here's the part I don't understand. Did he hide the planet? Did he destroy the planet? Did he turn his own weapon upon it? I don't know. But the planet itself is gone. But anyway, there's the Kun ship, and they're like, oh, look, it's coming up real fast. And they're like, oh, no! And he kind of smashes right into it. And they're like, what the hell? Where's our shields? And they even kind of look like Klingons. And he's coming up under, through the hull and throwing the hull at people. Lucky he knew exactly where the bridge was. But anyway, he's stomping on shit. They have no console. There's no navigation. He's making sure that, they're just going to be kind of drifting in space or worse. So he leaves the bridge. And they're like, should we get out of here or what? And he's like, there's no need. This is where we're going to die. And he goes into the engine room and burns whatever their engine combustible thing is, whether it's nuclear or whatever, dilithium crystal, whatever, and destroys the entire thing. Is just gone. But it blows up with him in it. They even make the guy in the bottom even looks like Christopher Plummer's character. So this is definitely Star Trek centric. So anyway, the entire thing blows up. Whatever nuclear dilithium crystal engine that they had, and boom. But he's caught in the blast, and he gets picked up by another ship. And boy, Wonder Woman's just not looking good there. I don't know what the hell's going on with Wonder Woman anymore. But anyway, he gets picked up by the ship, and that's the end of it. So, yeah, good stuff. I like it. Again, you can't do Zod without doing Superman. But this would be a nice setup to bring Zod back to fight Superman in the future if we did do a movie. Where it's almost like Khan, where he tried to be peaceful, or even like Black Adam, where he tries to be peaceful and things just attack him. In fact, the guy tells him, he goes, how'd you know that I had this weapon? And he's like, your son told me. So the son is obviously, we all knew it. We all knew that the son was the one that gave him information. So, yeah. So I don't know if he's going to have a battle with his son in the future here. Again, that's another thing that we could do with Superman, especially when Superman has kids, or in the comic he only has one, but in the TV show he had two. But yes, that's another way to do it, is if we brought Superman ahead, in and having children, and we had this fight with the child, and then eventually, Zod showed up, and wow, that would be. Then he had to protect his son. Wow, Superman would have to protect his son from Zod. I mean, Zod's kid. So that would be very interesting. All right, so let's jump into Void Rival. This is the one that I told you is by Robert Kirkman. So this started out like Enemy Mine. It's in the Energon universe, which means that there's Transformers and G.I. Joe in this universe. But this was an Enemy Mine thing where there was like a ring, but it was like split down the middle. And these guys have been warring, even though they're like neighbors. They've been warring for their entire lives. Not only lives, but their entire generations. As long as they have remembered, they've been at war with this other race. So anyway, they're both after this meteorite because they needed water. And whoever was the better pilot was going to be able to take this meteorite back to their side. So anyway, they get into a battle and they both crash land. And the only way to get off of the planet is then to work together. So they mismatch their remaining pieces of their ships together to create a ship. But anyway, the female is a male and a female. And they realize that they look the same. Well, they took their helmets off. They were the same species. So they've been lied to their entire lives. So they're like, the guy is more of the moral compass. He wants to be a hero. He likes her. And she could give a shit less. So they're on their way back to, he's like, which way should we go? He's trying to make a plan about, if one goes to one side, how we're going to protect the other. But no, she stabs him in the back, almost pretty much literally, and he gets taken prisoner on her side. And then her father, I think she's a princess or whatever, her name is Solila, and his name is Kardak, something like that. And so anyway, when he finds out that she saw him without his helmet, she gets taken to prison. So this rebel group on her side gets him out, and he won't leave without her, so they get her out, and they go into this wasteland, and the father calls in this bounty hunter to go find them, except he's only like a head and a torso. He's like in a Bacta tank or whatever he's in. And they put him into this suit of armor where now he has arms and legs. And he has this, almost like a Boba Fett looking helmet. And he's after them. And I can just kind of skip over the beginning because we see some of her childhood, where she's learning how to fight. And I think she's fighting against her own brother or something to that effect. Yeah, I don't think she was kind of grown correctly. So she's like, well, what's the plan here? And he has a talking gauntlet that's like called a hand droid. So she realized that he doesn't have a really good plan, and they're probably going to run out of food before they get there. And she's just like, I'm going to die. And here's the bounty hunter. And I don't know why they went with wheels here. Why the designer and why Kirkman agreed to have a wheel. Why didn't they have a hover bike? It's supposed to be sci-fi. Why would it have wheels? I thought that was very odd. I didn't hear any other reviewers talk about the fact that they had a wheel on it. But I'm a sci-fi guy. It's the first thing that I kind of went, eh? It's kind of weird because it doesn't show a whole lot of imagination. She's kind of crawled into a ball, but then she hears the guy coming, and she's like, "We better run." Except it's too late, and this kind of missile comes out between them and kind of electrocutes them. That's what I'm saying. We got sci-fi stuff in here. Why didn't we go 100% sci-fi? I mean, that bike looks completely contemporary. I mean, they didn't even try. So anyway, she's like, we need to run. He's like, what's that? He's like, we need to run because we're about to die. And the android says, your blaster is not going to even damage his armor. And he's like, man, everybody's a party pooper today. So anyway, they decide to fight him together, but she does tell him to run, and she will try to hold him off. I thought that was good. Maybe she's finally coming around. So anyway, she has the spear, etc., and she's dodging. I like how she does this split and stuff like that to dodge, but she finally gets hit. And then Hardak, whatever his name is, shoots him up. So that we have basically a lot of action going on here between the two of them. And she puts the spear through him, and she can control the spear. She can send it back, except he grabs it, and she's still kind of attached by whatever energy she's using as like a magnetic force, and it draws her to him. So she's now gripped by him, and he starts cracking her helmet. Meanwhile, the other guy is unconscious, and his android is telling him to wake up. And I don't know what happens there, but we have an explosion. And all that stuff happens. I don't know. But he gets up finally, and he realizes that the spear is literally through her. And she's like, I think I have a problem. I don't know if she'd be held up like that. Literally, it would just, she'd fall down. There's nothing holding her there because the spear is all one size. But anyway, talk to the android. So yeah, it was a full action-packed thing, and I am looking forward to the next issue. It has been good. It has progressed. So there hasn't been any really stagnant pieces of the story at this point. It'll be good if she finally comes around. She won't die, not at this point. Though she'll live. But I like that they brought in a physical enemy now, and stuff like that. That's actually a threat. So there's good stuff, and I think absolutely this would make a good movie. Absolutely, I would see it. The characters are mostly likable, not her, but him. He's likable. But I think that's part of her arc, is that she's going to become likable. So anyway, let's jump into Ghost Machine. So kind of like the Energon universe, this is Ghost Machines. They're, all these interconnected things. And I just did a thing on Rook Exodus. That was in my last episode 94. And I'm a big fan of history. As you know, I wrote a World War II biography. I love history. And going into the independence, War from Independence, 1776, etc., I was very interested in this one. And it's also written by Jeff Johns, who wrote the Rook one, which is excellent. And, he also does TV, like he did the Stargirl show, which was very good, too. He has misses, like he did the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, so there's that. So he's a hit and miss as far as television is concerned. And comics, the same thing. Some of the stuff he writes is very good, and like he did that whole Green Lantern rebirth thing with all the different emotional colored rings and like that. That was very innovative. So anyway, we start, and I'm going to show you what the problem here is. So we start out with 1775. So we start out with Paul Revere. So Paul Revere is like the Redcoats are coming. The Redcoats are coming, and he literally gets hit in the head with a rock, and the Redcoats are all there. So I'm like, well, that's really interesting. Are we kind of doing a Tarantino thing here where we're changing history? So they're like, oh, it's too late, man. We've already been here for a long time. So, you trying to warn these people, it's too late, bro. And they're about to kill him, just literally beat him to death, when there is a bunch of fireflies, magical fireflies, and they literally go into his mouth. All their mouths. Okay. So during the beginning, I was thinking, we're changing history. It's going to be, what if England did not lose the Revolutionary War? I'm like, wow, that is really interesting. I'm all in on that. But then we get magic. I don't know what the hell. What the hell? So these lightning bugs or whatever you want to talk about, they kill all of the, I don't know what's going on. And then we get this guy who, he's like, the magic came from me, I saved you, get back on your horse and go warn everybody. I mean, we went from history to, I don't know, Doctor Strange here? I don't know what the frig. So then we get introduced, now the war is over, and we're getting this Redcoat guy who is trying to hide, and the artwork's decent, but he's being chased by everybody in existence. He's probably one of the last Redcoats that are around. They're probably trying to round everybody up at this point. And he's hiding in the church, And then we get more weird stuff. He looks out into the church, and he sees like a cult thing going on with Benjamin Franklin on the table. And Benjamin Franklin's about to sacrifice himself for this other magic. I don't know. I really don't know. So anyway, he falls out of the rafters just as this magic is about to hit Ben Franklin, and now he has this power, or whatever it is. And you can see Ben Franklin there. And he's like, oh, that's gonna hurt. But anyway, it makes him immortal. So now we're like in Highlander territory. And, destroys the whole thing. He's the only one alive. And then we have this cut to 1982. What is it? 1892. So this is after the Civil War. Because the Civil War ended in 1865. In case you were wondering. I'm sure you care. I am because I also did a Western, so I know all of the dates and everything like that. I know what guns were built on what year. Like if I see a 1860s television show and they're firing bullets, I know they're full of shit, because bullets were not created. They were, at that point in time, they were shooting balls. Literally, the entire cartridge had to come out of the gun. That's why the cartridge was completely round. It didn't have the indentations, because there was no bullets. Literally, they would pound the balls into the cartridge with gunpowder. So you didn't have the bullets that had the gunpowder already in it, like the thing on the back that had the snap, etc. So yeah. So the charge is in the back of the bullet, but they didn't have those back in the 1860s. The actual bullets weren't created until like the 1880s. So just saying. But anyway, so now that I went on a tangent. But anyway, so he's being chased continuously. So now it's after the Civil War, and the guy is wearing the same clothes, man. What? I mean, even in England, this had gone out of style. And he's going through windows. The shit's not getting ripped or anything like that. After 100 years, the thing isn't worn out, right? Because we started out in 1776, right, or 1775. Now we're in 1800s, almost into 1900s, right? 1892, right? So 100 years and he's still wearing a red coat? I mean, I can understand them having his coat red, but at least change the style. I mean, it doesn't make a bit of sense. So we do these scenes here that he's kind of like Captain Jack Sparrow, where he's been, bedded every woman. He owes everybody in the world money. And, they call the stuff on him because he owes everybody money. So he has to fight his way out. And, yeah. And he dies. Every time he dies, he comes back like within 24 hours or so. And somebody gets him out of... Again, I don't even know how they knew he was coming back from the grave. I don't know. But somebody dug him out. This kid or whatever. And yeah. And now he's surrounded because they're like, we've been looking for you for 100 years, apparently. Because now we have those guys that were putting on the little seance thing there, or whatever kind of cult thing they had going on. So, you know what I call this? I have two words for this. Missed opportunity. Because they had a good setup. Jeff Johns had a good setup with the alteration of history. And kind of like what if the Nazis had taken over, what if they hadn't lost the war? This is what if England didn't lose the war and we were still under English rule and we were an English colony. That is interesting. and having this guy. See, now also, if you have a Redcoat, right, he is English, right? Therefore, he would not stay in America. After all this, he would immediately have gone back to England, where his home was. None of it makes any sense. I mean, it is bad. This whole thing is just bad. And I just don't know if I'm going to continue it. I might get one more issue just to see if anything goes anywhere. But will it make good film or television? No, man, this is... I hate to say it, Jeff Johns, man, you're a nice guy. I have met you several times, but this is just bad. It's just bad. It's not thought through. And like I said, missed opportunity. You had a good idea that you could have started with, and instead you went off the deep end. Void Rivals, yep. Still good. Still good. Sacrifices kind of jumped off the deep end there, but at least Void Rivals is kind of staying the course. And the Up Before Zod is just getting better. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I want to see where this goes. It's got 12 issues, which I think is really long. But yeah, but they're keeping the action going, and I'm waiting to see what happens with him. I'm waiting to see if he gets another woman now, but he's not going to have a Kryptonian woman. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys disagree? Do you think these things are going to make amazing movies? Do they all suck? Let me know what you guys think. And if, again, if you're interested in joining me with my my class on the 20th and the 21st, it is going to be fun, and it will be informative. And again, you will have personal interaction. It will be through Zoom, so you can do it from anywhere in the world. So yeah, check it out. The link below goes to Eventbrite in the description, and you can check it out. And again, you can bring a friend with you or whatever, and you'll get a pretty hefty discount. All right, so remember to give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, why the hell not? It is free. Any interaction you do with me, with the channel, helps the algorithm for YouTube, so I don't care if you call me an asshole or whatever, it's just going to help me. And also Mark Spears, who does cover art for Spawn. He did something recently for Marvel, I think. He's done Vampirella, he did Power Rangers, etc. Anyway, he has a whole bunch of classic monsters. We're doing a card game called Myth Lords. I'm finally getting used to the new name. And we actually got I got the sample for the Oz expansions, because we have a Dark Oz expansion. So you're going to be able to play as the Wicked Witch, etc. But in the main game, you'll be able to play as Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, etc. And you're going to be able to build an army, and you're going to send them out, and so on. So it's lots of fun. So I've had some really good feedback from people who have played it, etc. It'll be fun. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Check out some of my other videos as well. And, yeah, in case you want to hear me rant some more. All right, have a great day. Talk to you soon.